Hi, everyone, I am Aisha Fatima. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we will discuss how to learn coding from the beginning. You could be a school student, a college student, preparing for placements, or learning web development or app development for freelancing. Or maybe you are a working professional already doing a job. If you fall into any of these categories and have the desire to learn coding, then this video is for you. By watching this entire video, you will clearly understand how to learn coding according to your requirements. The first thing we will talk about is the ideal path. We will discuss 4 to 5 steps that you should follow whether you are in school, college, or working. With the help of these tips, you can become a great coder. The first step is to determine what kind of coding you want to do. Knowing this is essential before anything else. The second part involves choosing the language. Different types of coding require different languages. In coding, there are many languages. For example, if you want to build a website, you will need one language, while another language will be required for app development, and so on. Depending on your goal, you need to identify the language and tools required and plan your learning path accordingly. The third step is to learn the basics. Once you've learned the basics, you should start applying them directly. The fourth step is to build projects. In coding, after learning something, we build a project to gain practical knowledge. Let's talk about the first step, identifying what you want to learn. You may have different motivations for getting into coding. Perhaps you've seen a game and thought, I want to create amazing games too. Or you want to start your own business, and to do that, you need to create your own website. Or you're planning a startup and want to create your app by yourself. Or you want to check how apps are created before hiring someone else to do it. There are various motivations. The first motivation could be preparing for college placements. If you're a B.Tech or BCA student, especially in your 3rd or 4th year, and want to know what you need to study for placements, you may want to create apps for Apple devices or Android apps, build websites, work in data science and machine learning, or get into game development, software development, or just learn coding for fun. Even if you're still in school and have some free time before board exams, you might want to explore coding, which is totally fine. Now, let's discuss the languages you need to learn to code. If we talk about placements, I would recommend 2 of the best languages for placements, Java and C++. The advantage of learning these languages is that once you master one, you'll be able to learn any other programming language easily. If you're in doubt about whether to learn both languages, I suggest mastering one language thoroughly for placements. Java and C++ are great options. For those interested in iOS development, you can learn Swift. For Android app development, you can learn Java or Kotlin. Or website development, you have several options. For front-end development, you can learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For back-end development, you can learn Node.js, Django, or PHP, which is still popular for certain applications. For data science, Python, R, and MATLAB are great options, with Python being the best choice. If you're into game development, you can learn C++ or C#. For software development, which is for those already working and want to shift into software development roles, you can learn Java, C++, or languages like Golang to enhance your job prospects. If we want to code for fun and school, after that, we might want to score for water. I won't comment on recording at all, whether it's your IT job, sleep from books, or preparing for another exam, don't leave coding out of fear. But if you have free time, you can definitely explore languages like JavaScript or Python. The next thing that comes up is the meaning of learning the basics: variables, if-else loops, and arrays. What does it mean when I say I have to study from this point onward in a particular language? It simply means that there are some core topics that are common in every language, and by mastering these 4 topics, we can learn any language quickly. In the initial stage, we need to make a project using the language we're learning. Start by creating simple projects and preparing for placements. Make simple topics and work on your simple projects. If you want to pursue a free job, you can showcase all these codes. When you're showing someone that you've learned this language and built a website, it's simple to create something. Make something where, in the beginning, you focus on this point and go from there. If you start with such small projects, coding will become easier. In the early stages, you will face many problems, and you might need many resources. In our coding journey, there's a very good principle that says, motivation gets you started, but habit keeps you going. The part one like the most is that motivation helps you begin, so you should never forget your motivation. Coding might be a bit difficult in the initial months, but if you stick with it, after a few months, you'll become a very good coder. To stay consistent, you must always keep your motivation in mind. Everyone has different motivations. It could be that you're learning coding out of interest because you saw a friend coding, or maybe you've supported yourself a bit with it in school, college, or a job. It could also be that you're aiming for a high-paying job. Many of us have heard that coding can lead to high-paying jobs at companies like Google, Facebook, or Microsoft, and while we may not know exactly what path to take, we do know we are working towards high-paying jobs and will prepare accordingly. Everyone has different motivations. It could be that you're learning coding out of interest because you saw a friend coding, or maybe you've supported yourself a bit with it in school, college, or a job. It could also be that you're aiming for a high-paying job. Many of us have heard that coding can lead to high-paying jobs at companies like Google, Facebook, or Microsoft, and while we may not know exactly what path to take, we do know we are working towards high-paying jobs and will prepare accordingly. A third reason could be that you were already working in a job and now want to shift to a development profile in the market. Perhaps you were in a testing profile in the industry and now want to move to a software development profile. The market is evolving in such a way, my friends, that to stay updated, you're learning coding. There could be many other different reasons, but you must keep your motivation in mind. It will help you decide not to give up on coding, even in tough times. I'd like to end with a very good quote that I've probably mentioned before: motivation gets you started, but habit keeps you going. We already know our motivation, and we must start working on it and build a habit. If we're learning to code, it will take a few months, but every day, we must dedicate at least 1 to 2 hours to coding. In fact, if we maintain this habit and consistently devote 1 to 2 hours daily, we will become really good coders. That's all for today. See you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more useful content. Thanks for watching.